Okay, good morning everybody. Just while I sort myself out, firstly I want to give an apology to Martin McGee from North Down PCSP because we were, God, it seems like just 2 minutes ago, but last night we were in Bangor listening to a group of young people telling us about their experience of policing in the local area, and it was just an amazing evening, and I applaud the PCSP. So Martin, please feel free to go to sleep because I'm not likely to say much that's different. So I want to say congratulations to Linking Generations for this work, and just applaud actually going out and doing it. When we were sent the brief, we were told, Claire and I were asked to speak with one voice. Now, having heard Claire and having heard me, you may actually be forgiven for thinking we're speaking with the same voice, because we are women of a certain age and we have the same accent. I need to be very clear, we are quite distinct. Claire claims to come from London. She doesn't. She comes from south of the River Thames, which is pretend London. I actually was born, I'm Greek Cypriot by culture, but I was born and brought up in North London, which anyone who visits London will know is proper London. So, and once I stop using so much hair dye, I'll look exactly like Claire. I want to say to some of the young people, you're not the old people of tomorrow, I'm the old people of tomorrow, you're the older people of the day after tomorrow. As Claire has rightly said, this is only day 9 of me being the Northern Ireland Commissioner for Children and Young People. So I'm still very much finding my feet and working out what on earth I'm supposed to be doing for the next 4 years. But I have been working in the area of young people and community safety and crime for the last 17 years. So this work is not new to me. So I'm really, really pleased that one of the first events I'm attending as Commissioner for Children is this event, and it's about community safety, and I always enjoy sharing the stage with the Minister. and the other disadvantage of coming third is that they've all said what I was going to say. So just bear with me because I've written something, so you're going to hear it. Often when young people, as Claire has said, when people think of young or old, what they often think is vulnerable. And as Claire has said, that's actually not the case. For the people I work for, yes, children and young people need to be protected from certain things, but actually, what a joy it is to be young. How fantastic it is when you see that nothing's a problem, that they have optimism, and this notion of invincibility that younger people have is amazing. And that's not just young people who live settled lives within their families. The young people that Martin and I were talking to last night were young people who'd had really quite a difficult start, yet still thought it was their duty and responsibility to turn up on a Wednesday night to Bangor and to tell the police and to be part of a process that ensures that they are policed in a safer and more appropriate way. And again, you'll see throughout the literature that you've been given today and the work that you have all done through this project, that younger people are not sitting down waiting for things. They are looking out and being part of the world that they live in, regardless of their circumstances. And that is the joy of youth. So it's not vulnerable, it's active citizens and active participants in their community in the here and now. And that's really what I think Linking Generations and intergenerational work generally is celebrating really, really well, and it's brilliant. Something happens, and again the Minister talked about this quite a bit. Something happens as to how we view our children when they get to the age of 12, 13. Those of you over there, just switch off now. Those of us who have been parents and those of us who went through it ourselves, we know hormones kick in, teenagers are a nightmare to live with. But again, they're brilliant. But we suddenly switch off from, as a society, to thinking they're no longer angels, but they're now, excuse the term, they're now wee hoods. And that's how we should treat them. And we should demonise them. And when we see them standing on our street corner, we should think that they're up to no good. And actually we should then tell our older people particularly that they're at risk from them and that they're out to hurt them. You know better than me that the reality is not true. You know, when you think back to what you were doing when you were that age, you were thank you very much for the water. You were using your public spaces to meet your mates and do whatever it was you were doing. So why are we not allowing our children and young people to do that today? Is that my mum ringing me and telling me to behave myself? Whilst some of the perceptions and negative attitudes towards children and young people are getting better, we know from the latest Northern Ireland Crime Survey that the Minister has talked to, that people still think that most crime is committed by young people. They certainly think that most antisocial behaviour is committed by young people. The facts tell us that's not true. It's not a competition about who's going to be more victimised by crime and who commits more crime. What we have to be sure, and what the Minister and the agencies that work within his department have to be sure, is that every victim of crime gets the service that means that they can move on with their lives and that they're not re-victimised again and again and again by the system. And it'll be different for me than it would be for Claire, as much as it would be different from an older person than it would be for a younger person. So as I've said, there has been real progress made around the fear of crime and around people understanding who actually commits the crime. And I definitely think, as I said, that what the intergeneration projects have done is that allowed older people and younger people to come together and change the way people think of themselves, think of them, change the rhetoric around them and take control of that. And to that, I genuinely applaud you all that have been involved in these projects for taking that time to listen and to say, don't say what you're saying about us, we'll rewrite the script about us. And that's the joy of the work. The other thing I want to say, and the Minister said, and Vicky said about the project coming to the end, this work needs to be woven into, as Claire says, everything that we do in Northern Ireland, but particularly into the fabric of all community safety structures, and particularly, again, the work of the policing and community safety partnerships and community planning processes within our councils. Young people have often, as I said, been erroneously seen as perpetrators of antisocial behaviour and older people as victims of crime, and it's not black and white. So young people again and again and again in the last 20 years that I've worked with them have told me that by engaging and talking directly with older people from within their community, they can reassure them that they're not, as a group, the biggest risk to them. The young and the old are taking control and helping this government meet its obligations to a number of UN treaties. And in the case, the one I'm particularly interested is in the UN Convention of the Rights of the Child. The UN committee, when it last had the UK government in front of it in 2008, said that the negative perceptions of young people was unacceptable, and that the UK government had to take urgent measures to address this intolerance and inappropriate characterisation of children and young people. The UK government are up before the UN committee next year, and I wait to hear what they've said the measures they've taken. But what I know is likely to happen is projects like these will be one of the ones that we put forward as how the negative perceptions of young people, where young people particularly have taken control. So again, I thank Linking Generations for doing that. So the one last plea I have for you is please continue to listen to and engage with the children and young people in your community. Not because I tell you to, although it would be great if in this job, just because I told somebody that they would do it, Minister. Well, I've been trying to tell you how to do your job for the last 4 years, so maybe I'll find another way of getting you to listen. Or because it fulfills any obligations to a UN treaty that's been written outside of these shores, but because it's actually the right thing to do and will actually help all of us to do our jobs better and to keep our communities safer. So well done and many congratulations, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the event.